Now if it's wrong, we don't wanna be right. Well, not quite, we're right, cause what is left is always blur on our sight. And it's alright to discuss it, suss it out and give light to the tyranny upon us and this perilous plight. For the red, for the white, for the blue, and all colors, standing up for what is true and is right. The Wright brothers. That's right.
Well, I'm Steve.
And I'm Dan.
And
we're the Wright brothers.
Today we're going to talk a little common sense to the common folk out there. We've been dealing with some strange happenings in our culture lately with people just having bipolar views about what's really happening in the world today. So we're dealing with a lot of opposing views in society today. And if you don't agree with someone who's, say, a liberal or a Democrat, you're automatically labeled as a racist or a bigot or a misogynist or any label that they're trying to throw at the president that they deem him to be.
This was called deflecting. Basically, what some people do is because they identify with who they are and they think that other people are the same. And so when they hear people say something they don't agree with, they immediately call them what they would perceive that to be. And it's, so you're a racist. Why are you calling me that? Because, well, if I said that, that's what I would think I was. Yeah.
Yeah. Racism is getting thrown around, way too much. It's like a trigger word, and it causes a reaction with the people that are saying it and with the people that are receiving that. Because it's not, racism is a very real thing. I don't deny that it still exists, but the fact that I'm white and the fact that I see things a little differently than what is the public opinion or the general democratic public opinion does not make me a racist. Some of my best friends are black people and they know who I am. They would never call me that, but someone on the internet behind a keyboard calling me a racist, it doesn't hold weight. But at the same time, it's damaging because other people see that and you get associated, you get lumped in with a viewpoint that isn't necessarily even yours. They don't even know who I am. And calling someone a racist, not that I was called a racist online, because I try to stay out of those circles, but I just witness it. I see it and I witness it. And I have some friends that just for their mere skin tone and the way that they lean politically, they're automatically thrown in this bucket of being a Nazi, essentially.
And that's just one example. I mean, it goes on and on. You're a misogynist. You're a racist. You're an idiot. You're a bigot, or whatever. And I mean, I was recently, as an example, and we're talking about, basically what this all comes down to is canceling culture or canceling people because you don't agree with them. And simply for the fact that you don't agree with them. It doesn't mean they're wrong. It doesn't mean you're wrong. It just means that you don't agree and that there could be more than one right. And so simply because someone doesn't agree with you doesn't give you the right to cancel them. Recently, I was called a misogynist. This was an online attack by somebody that I don't even personally know. They know me from online and by reputation. And it proceeded into this shit show of basically a group of people trying to hate on me and attack me simply because I posted some crass humor about Kamala Harris. Now she kind of made her own bed. She is who she is, and there are things that really happen. And so by stating that does not make me a misogynist. I think it makes me someone who's concerned about who is running for one of the highest offices in our country. And so I made kind of a crass joke, and it got put out there. They tried to cancel me, my business, hurt me personally, hurt my business, and simply for the fact that they didn't agree with what I said.
Yeah, I came to your defense. I was one of 2 out of 200 comments, I believe. And it was disheartening is what it was, because I saw people that Dan has helped in their own personal and business endeavors, completely jumping on the bandwagon and saying, yeah, cancel them, and talking shit about who you were being portrayed as a person.
Yeah.
And it's not true. They called him a racist. They called him a bigot. And I'm like, hey, I've known him since I was like 8 years old, and he's none of those things. He's an asshole sometimes, but other than that,
really, I mean, I own that. I can be an asshole. I mean, when people call me an asshole, I say, you have no idea. But
But that does not make him intolerant of another person.
Yeah.
Or another person's views.
I mean, come on. I mean, let's get real here. I mean, I was, people want to they get a very small glimpse into your life on social media, and they become keyboard warriors. And if they don't agree with you, they try to cancel you. And they don't even know who I am. And I could say, personally, for me, I mean, for crying out loud, my sister is a lesbian. She's also happened to be a minister, and she officiated the services for my wedding. So don't sit here and tell me that I don't support LGBT or other groups of people, that I'm not open-minded, or that I'm intolerant of other people's lifestyles, because I'm not. My birth-born daughter is now my son, and I couldn't love him more than any of my other kids. So sit there and pass judgment on somebody when you don't know what their real life is. All you see is just a small little portion of it. I think it says more about that person than it does about me, and I think you really need to question who the real bigot is.
Yeah, and it's happening an overwhelming amount right now on Facebook, particularly. People are just in little clubs, and there's no more agree to disagree. You can't agree. I can see that way. I mean, I do. I am fine. I don't throw my hat into the ring. I have my views and I own them, and I'm happy with that. The people that feel their need to get online as a platform and say, this is how you have to be, this is how you have to live, this is, if you don't support this movement, then we're going to put you in this category and we're going to cancel you.
You don't care about people, obviously, if you don't support that.
Yeah. We're going to dox you.
Yeah.
It's the malicious intent going online and basically misrepresenting someone that you don't even know.
Yeah.
It's sad. I mean, Facebook it has been a good platform for us as musicians. That is all changing. Also, I think due to some liberal agenda where live music has been demonized.
Yeah.
Completely. You can't, in Washington State, you cannot legally perform live music right now.
Anywhere. You can't perform any live entertainment, comedy, DJ, music, any performing arts, unless you're in the NFL or the NBA, then, go ahead. If you're paying millions of dollars to the state to do whatever and entertain, then you can do that. But even that's not entertainment anymore, because they are also trying to cancel people who don't think like them.
Yeah.
So, but they're allowed to do that because they're millionaires. But I tell you, I got a problem with multimillionaires telling me how I should think socially and what sort of social justice I should be thinking about. But that's another topic for another time.
Yeah. I mean, going back to the live music, I mean, right now there are people that are performing and trying to create a social unity and a social outlet for people who, in this time of COVID, where they're breaking down the social structure of society. I mean, we're social creatures. We need to be able to touch, to speak, to listen, and feel. And I think that's part of why this cancel culture is really taking root too, is because people are mental. I'm a little mental right now because I don't get to do the things that I've grown accustomed to and I love to do. And I don't feel free to live my life the way that I've always lived it.
Yeah. I mean, producer Scott here, you're a musician as well. What's it? It's horrible, right?
It's absolutely ridiculous.
we don't get to do what we love, and people don't get to gather. And there's a few things in life that bring unity, and that is one of those things is entertainment and music when it's brought to you in a non-confrontational and a fun way. And right now,
Now,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. Now, if you do perform in a speakeasy type fashion, under the radar, above the law or below the law, however it is,
you might get canceled.
You might get canceled because you're not being socially responsible. You're not being safe. What if you kill grandma? Yeah. And this is the thing that they keep putting out during this whole pandemic that we're experiencing. But I wear a mask for you. You wear a mask for me. We touched on this in another conversation earlier. Everybody needs to be responsible for their own self. And that, by extension, having your own opinion, thinking for yourself, thinking independently is living that way independently, where now, if you do anything that's not government mandated or whatever is being the latest news story on the news, and
I mean, so as an example, we're in Western Washington. We're on the West Coast. We have a lot of wildfires going on right now. It doesn't matter how they started. I mean, it does, but that's not what we're talking about right now. So we have a lot of these wildfires. They started closing down parks and beaches and boat launches and stuff. The government did because they know what's best for you. Now, we should be able to make these decisions for ourselves. We're adults, right? And so for the government to say, you can't do this or you must do that, to where it begins to manage basically your entire life and what you're allowed to do as a free person. If you go ahead and then do it, you might get canceled. They've set up a culture where it's now okay to shame and embarrass people for simply wanting to do what they want to do. Now, as a common person, I'm going to use this in the pre-show conversation. Scott brought something up. I'm not going to go, it's so smoky over here. It's bad. I'm not going to go climb a mountain right now. I'm not going to go out running right now because I'm not stupid. It would be bad for my health. I don't need the government to tell me that I can't do that, okay? And if somebody is stupid enough, they go ahead and do that anyway, I guess natural selection takes its course. There are consequences for your decisions and your actions. We don't need the government to take care of us from cradle to grave. And unless you want that, do some of you really want that? I think maybe some people do.
Maybe they think we're going to overwhelm the health workers, the hospitals with our stupid COVID smoke park plan.
Prior to COVID, they would have never been able to shut down these parks and these beaches. No.
So they're creating a new
There's fires every year
where that's okay. And so what you're going to see is you're going to and it all plays into the hands. So you have to wear a mask. You can't gather with more than 10 people. You can't gather with people outside of your household. And right now, the reason is COVID. Well, flu season is right around the corner. Flu season comes. Oh, well, you still have to continue wearing the mask, and you still can't go out because now you might get the flu or you might get a common cold, something we've been dealing with forever. And it goes on and on and on. And then if you go ahead and do these things, then it brings us full circle back to where now you're the bad guy. You don't care about other people because you don't wear a mask. You don't care about other people because you're promoting people to think independently and have critical thought.
What you're saying is dangerous.
Yeah, I'm dangerous.
If you don't toe the line.
I've had somebody tell me, what you're saying could kill somebody. Really?
Because they don't know how to take care of their immune system? Because you can't be trusted to go and, if they're at risk to...
If my opinion is so broad and so powerful that by what I'm saying can cause somebody to die,
you're uncancelable, Dan.
I can't be canceled. So knock it off. All right, stop trying to cancel me, goddamn.
Yeah, it's the hypocrisy is incredible.
Just follow the science.
Well, I know it's math. It's math and facts.
Yeah,
that's
government pays good money for these scientists to tell them stuff.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
And they take it. They just take the money. I mean, they love it. I mean, Dr. Fauci, man, he makes a ton of money, man.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's been right once. I mean, basically, you're supposed to, because our assumptions were wrong, which made our models wrong, which made the outcome not what we thought it was going to be, you still need to listen to us because we know science.
Yeah.
So come on.
It's ridiculous. Early on, everyone's still blaming Trump for the way that he handled COVID at the beginning of this thing. And somehow, if he would have acted sooner or done something differently, just 2 weeks later, we'd be out of this mess. We'd be living free and no masks. And it's just bullshit. I mean, they said, well, if he would have had people wear masks at the beginning, it's like Fauci even in March said, you don't need to wear masks.
Yeah, don't wear a mask.
You don't need to wear masks. It doesn't protect. Well, and then they switched it. The whole fucking mind game where, oh, I don't wear a mask for me. I wear a mask for you. That they're playing this thing.
Yeah.
So it's diabolical is what it is. They're getting everyone to think that their compassion, they're playing everybody's compassion like puppetry. It's just like, oh, well, if I have to do this because I care about you. I care about your grandma.
Yeah.
Socialism will not work unless they can sell the idea that we're all in this together.
Yes.
And you should do it for your human
for the common good.
For the common good.
Of course.
And that should motivate everybody to produce what needs to be produced for our standards of living.
Who decides what's best for the common good?
Well, you have to give all that control over to the people that know.
The smarter people, right?
They're smarter.
Yes.
Look, they've been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
The UN.
And which brings me to something I have on my notes here, which is somewhat connected. I mean, he has been doing it for a long time. Joe Biden, I mean, really, is that the best you could come up with?
It sounds like Trump these days.
Is that the best you could have come up with? You like to, folks like to, not you or me, but people, they like to say, well, Trump is the best you could come up with. You've got Joe Biden. He is an old, rich establishment white dude. And I hate to bring up color in this, but, since everybody else is bringing up color and everything else, I may as well. You had Tulsi Gabbard. You had, Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah. Andrew Yang. Was it Andrew Yang?
Yang, was out there. They had some concepts. They're still very left-leaning, but they also come to the center on certain things. And that's really, what people want. They don't want an extremist on either side, really. I think most Americans want to find a common ground that benefits the most people most of the time. And you're not going to do that all the time for everybody, but because there's different paths to meet the same end. And just because we disagree on those paths, it's no reason to call somebody an idiot or a bigot or a misogynist or a million other adjectives. So.
How many liberals do you actually know that you actually think that they're evil? Because they're not. Like most of the ones that I know, my mom being one, they love people. They just think that this is the way to help people.
The individuals, yes. I think
individually.
The groupthink is
the groupthink is another thing. I think the higher up you go in the particularly in government, definitely in corporations, there becomes a level of power and control that I think does breed evil.
And again, you and I discussed this earlier about instinct. No one is trusting their instincts anymore or following their gut and looking at an issue or a situation that arises and thinking independently for themselves and deciding that, well, that doesn't feel right. They're like, what does this person think? Or
so instincts come from somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, you brought up, natural design, some of it, whether that's from a higher power or evolution, it doesn't matter. There's still a natural design. And we're wired a certain way for the most part. But you brought up evil, and I think there is evil in the world in some cases.
For sure.
Is your mom? No. Is many of my friends who are left leaning from moderate to extreme left. No, they're just individuals living their life, and they think they're doing what's best for themselves and others. And that's great. But when it comes to the people pulling the strings, I definitely think there's a motivation there, and I think that some of it is evil.
I agree. Get all your news from Facebook. That's what everybody does.
Yeah, I mean, definitely do that. Go to Facebook and get your news there, especially, from all those memes and stuff that are truthful, right?
Yeah. But be careful when you
don't badmouth them because you might get canceled.
Yeah, when you express your opinion, be ready for the fallout.
Yeah,
it's crazy times.
Oh, only conservatives.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Exactly.
No one
You
gets
cannot
canceled for towing the line.
Yeah, you can't. If you have a liberal view, it's all
Get a free
aces.
pass.
It's all aces on Facebook.
Free
That's
pass.
great. You're going to get a whole bunch of people polishing your
Shoes.
your shoes.
Yes.
That's exactly what they're going to do.
Yeah. So, well, great. It's been good. I think we've covered a lot of stuff here today.
We went all over the place.
Yeah.
You can draw lines from this to this to this, and wherever you go with it, there is a hard liberal stance and opinion on all of it, and don't you dare say something that doesn't fit the liberal agenda, because you will immediately be labeled a conspiracy theorist.
And this is our inaugural show, so we're just we're sliding into this thing, and we hope that you guys will tune in. We're going to put these out regularly, maybe not weekly, but fairly regularly. And you can follow us on Parler, you can follow us on Twitter, and we also have a YouTube channel, all at the Wright Brothers or TBR or TRB, TRB. So we'd like to do this. We have this. We're going to end our show with what we're going to call a sanity shot. And if you're wearing a mask, take it off. Go get your favorite liquor of choice, or a beer, or a water, or, soda water, or whatever. And join us in our sanity shot of the day.
We need a third shot glass.
I know.
I'll just take the bottle.
Just take it out of the bottle. Here you go, Scott.
Here I go.
All right. That's producer Scott right there. Thank you, sir. All right. Everybody, cheers.
Cheers.
Now if it's wrong, we don't want to be right. Well, not quite, we're right, cause what is left is always blur on our sight. And it's alright to discuss it, suss it out and give light to the tyranny upon us in this perilous plight. For the red, for the white, for the blue, and all colors, standing up for what is true and is right. The Wright Brothers. That's right.